Are we?
What's up, Comic Book Jerk fans? It's the Comic Book Jerk here, and I've got a post-it note on my eyeball so that I can't see what I'm saying and stuff. So, I've also got Justin Gadd here. You're supposed to say stuff, man. Gosh, what do you want?
Waiting. Look, man, you didn't press the button. All right. Did you get the memo?
Were you
You're
waiting?
supposed to press the button, then switch to me, and then I say something. Did you get the memo? Just checking that you got the memo.
No, I can't see it. It's on my face, man.
Did you get the memo? Yeah, you're gonna need to check the memo next time.
So this week, guys, we have got the top 5 movies to watch if you work in an office. They're office movies, so if you don't like office movies, then you probably haven't seen enough office movies, because there's really not that many office movies. When I tried to compose this list, I tried to compose the top 10 best office movies, and I could only find 5. So that tells you something there. Justin, what you got for us this week? Anything?
I'm just going to say, if we reach 20 viewers, I will staple my thumb. That's just the wow factor.
He's just that. He's just that crazy. So share this. Say this crazy dude is about to staple his thumb. Also,
if we only reach 20 viewers at once, and you all got to be watching, all right? That's a promise, not a threat.
So what time is it? What time is it, Justin? I don't have a watch.
It's time to kick that disclaimer.
Read it. Let's see what you got. How fast can you do it? The following broadcast should
be followed per section 106 and 106A. The failure to use the copyright work, including such as the big production of copyrighted photography, by any other means specified by that section of purpose, such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching. So close. I got further this time.
From the flamers and dudes who were trolling the fans, the midichlorian masterminds concocted a plan. Before he had an emporium of Endorian ales, and he was complaining about those movies starring Christian Bale. Anime's manga mastermind returned again to reboot his new show with all his geeky friends. Like the difference in Wookiees and tribbles and kibbles and bits, the story comes together like a reductor twist from Harry Potter. Or maybe it's worse, you might even curse the jerk for reminding you that everything's worse. In the back of your mind he says what you never could, and you never should, and you never would, but he could. So listen up, troll, and let's go. It's time to sit back and watch a Comic Book Jerk show.
So yeah, I guess we are back this week. Is the following link on everybody's pages, Justin? I mean, have we posted this all over the place for everybody to see and everybody to watch and everybody to enjoy?
We sure did.
So I just need to give a shout out to some of my friends. Harrison Rodding, I'm still waiting for you to drop another 120 pounds. He told me last time, he said, I'm going to come join the podcast for snappal.com. And I just need to drop 100 pounds. Well, 200 pounds later, and he's still dropping off weight, so I'm proud of you, Harrison, but you got to get your ass on this podcast as soon as possible. Now,
he should just totally put a laptop right in front of him while he's walking on the treadmill. That'd be great.
Or even buy him like a clip-on selfie stick. Be like, dude, if you're going to get on the treadmill, you're going to do the podcast. You're going to do it both at the same time. Here we go. Let's do it.
Guys, it's Harrison. So I'm giving my rant on the, like he's just sitting there with his selfie stick. Harrison, get on that, man. We want you to be our first time ever treadmill wielding comic book show participant.
I might even play music. Go. Yeah, ain't nobody wants to see that. See, we don't. Nobody's tuning in because we're actually about 40 minutes late to the podcast. But it's okay. We told you we would be here. Promise is a promise. I told Justin, I was like, I'm just not feeling up for the podcast. And Brian wasn't feeling up for the podcast.
Show's got to go on. Show's got to go on. All right, we'll wing it. We're gonna night wing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, speaking of Nightwing, we could talk comics, but let's talk comics. What'd you read this week, Justin?
I read a bunch this week. I had a lot to catch up because I didn't really get to my stack last week. So, I've been reading the Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, which is pretty cool. Sinestro's back, and he's back in bad, and I like it. let's see. All-Star Batman's really fun to read so far. I don't really understand what's going on, but it's really good and I really like it.
That's me with Civil War, because I still don't know what's going on. The only time that I actually knew what was going on in the last previous couple of podcasts, whenever Hawkeye got killed, that was the only time that I really knew what was going on in Civil War. So now I'm to the point where I'm like, I really don't know what's going on in Civil War. So,
but the thing is, it's like, the writing's so great. I think that All-Star Batman's going to turn out to be one of my favorites. Detective Comics is still killing it for me. This writing, really, there isn't a Rebirth title I haven't read that has at least interested me or kept me interested and, wanting to read the next one. I mean, every time I read these, it's like, I just keep saying, oh man, this is going to be the last issue I read of this, and then I get to the end and I'm like, well, I guess I'm reading next issue. And it just keeps me going. I really think the writing is just phenomenal, and it's going back to its roots of DC that I know and love, that a lot of us know and love. Detective Comics, Batman is so far my favorite. Batman's really good. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but man, there are some characters that I thought I'd be attached to that, I don't know where it's going with this.
Spoiler alert, since I've got the old Great American Strawberry out, again, this is now my official fundamental drink, the parts that he doesn't want to spoil is about to be spoiled, so if you haven't read Detective Comics, what number was it, Justin?
Not Detective Comics, we're talking Batman, issue 4.
I was about to say, it may not have been, but you must be talking about the so-called death of Gotham, who went a little batshit crazy after, who was he messing with, the pirate guy? Psycho Pirate, or whatever his name is? What? What's so funny?
Yeah, it's like, now I'm laughing at the comment section. When it said, do not staple your thumb. I'm doing it for the wow factor, babe.
Hey, we just need...
Factor. No one's going to tune in. We're already at 5.
20 more.
You got 20 more people.
Just need 20 more people. Now...
I not... See, that's the thing. I said it's crazy. Just as crazy as the idea of us getting over 20 views. I'm sorry. I love our fan base, though. The few and proud that we have.
Well, the past few weeks of the podcast, we've been able to manage a staggering 250 to 300 views in one sitting. So, I mean, anything is possible.
Viewers at the same time, though.
Viewers at the same time?
Right, I got 5 viewers here watching. I'm talking at the same time.
Yeah, we got 5 viewers right now, and yet Warner Brothers wants to hit me with 25 copyright claims every single week. So, a good news is for the Comic Book Jerk Show, I have managed to dwindle 52 copyright claims against us down to 3.
What? Maybe that guy in New York is gonna sue me for false advertising, because I'm really not gonna staple my thumb. That's just to get everyone in the door.
You're going to staple your thumb if I have to drive up there and make you do it. It's going to happen. But let's get...
No, this is all false advertising. Just a wow factor. I'm going to get sued by that guy in New York for false advertising.
Well, let's get back to the issue at hand. The so-called villains that we talked about was like... So everything we thought about these characters, Gotham and Gotham Girl and Batman 5, completely turned out to be not what we thought they was. Like, didn't we think that they were going to end up being covert bad guys, but apparently they just went batshitty.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically, they were written in to be bad guys, but, they're mind controlled, they're mind slaves, and it's really interesting to see these characters, and I'm really interested because now we've revealed how they got their powers and what they're doing with them. I'm just really intrigued at where this is going to go. I think Gotham's dead. Gotham Girl is alive. So we're going to see where it goes from there. I really like this story, though. I love...
There seemed to be a little love connection with Gotham Girl and Batman's new experiment. I don't know what Batman is calling it, because it's not his sidekick.
It's saying it's something else.
It's okay, something new.
Trying something new. He's wearing bright yellow, though, so, it's obviously new.
Oh, on a side note, just to skip ahead of Batman, because there's not really much to cover in that issue, Gotham goes nuts, and Gotham Girl's still scared, and then it's up to...
And we're revealed that their powers are actually based on how much they use them and how much strength they want to use.
Didn't they say something about buying those powers? Like, I really did not...
They bought their powers, but instead of powers for money, it was powers for their life. So they trade years of their life for how much power they exert. So she says, like, we can be normal civilians for decades. We could be, Supermen for a couple of years, or we could be gods for a couple of hours. So this causes Gotham to go really crazy, and he thinks that, he has to fight the Justice League, and he is whooping their butt. And going off.
Ass, Justin. Remember, add ass into that.
Yeah, he's whooping their
ass.
Yeah.
Ass.
He's whooping their asses. And I mean, he's ripping a hole in Cyborg's chest, and he's...
Oh, he did punch right through his chest, dude.
Yeah, he's throwing Aquaman around like a ragdoll. I mean, he goes all Gotham, and that's why I think he's dead at the end. And I mean, they mentioned the anniversary of his death. So Gotham Girl...
I really didn't care. Like, they summed that up way too quickly. He turned into a bad guy way too quickly, and it had great pacing. It had great pacing. It was turning. Yeah, it was shaping up to be a good story, but they kind of messed it up. Now the story
where it goes with Gotham Girl from here, because now she's on her own. So
Corey Kirby happened to say it's not Robin, but yeah, Gotham Girl is basically Gotham's Robin, and now she's batshitty crazy. But anyways, what I read this week was the new Superman issue with, basically it's continuing the same story of him fighting the Eradicator, who apparently has well, I don't know, is this technically the new 52 universe still? I still haven't kind of put that together yet. Is it a Convergence universe, or like
the new Superman in this one is the pre-Flashpoint Superman.
I know which
was dropped into the new 52 universe.
I know which Superman it is, but the Eradicator is he like Convergence Eradicator? Is he New 52 Eradicator? Like, I'm still a little bit twisted, but either way, he's the Eradicator, and he's got all the souls of that dimension's. I don't know. He's got all, that dimension's Krypton. He's got all the souls of them.
Not the Eradicator from pre-New 52 and pre-Flashpoint. Wait.
Now, if you read it with me, but didn't he eat Crypto? Like, does that mean that Crypto's back too?
I don't know. Here's the thing, man. What is with this superhero line wanting to kill animals? All right, you got Goldie.
Oh man, don't remind me of Goldie.
But you know what? Let's save the giant octopus thing. I mean, I don't know what their obsession with ripping my heart out every time they kill a dog or a little animal.
But we've seen Eradicator eat Crypto the same way that Superman got eat, but they didn't touch base. It's like the chronological order of this comic just completely ignores the fact that Crypto was eaten, and Crypto.
I was just ignored the fact that Crypto was even there.
You forgot that Crypto was even eaten by the Eradicator? Oh man!
No, I remember, but I'm saying it's like one issue of Superman. It just pops up like, hey, it's Crypto there, and I'm like, where's is he just an instant replacement for Goldie? Where was Crypto this whole time?
Well, that's a good point, but
is he just hanging out at the? Is there just a limitless supply of food at the Fortress?
The cover of this issue is pretty misleading because the cover showed Batman standing behind Superman, but that was actually Lois Lane in a superhero suit. Which, on another hand, there is another Lois Lane in the universe who's now Superwoman. Which we won't get into that because I didn't read that, but it was hinted on in one of the issues. And
I mean, it was like honestly, the thing about it is like. Yeah, the Superwoman thing, I read the issue. It's interesting for sure, because it's got a new concept that, the Lois Lane in New 52 got her powers when the New 52 Superman went Nova and blew up. Like, the energy zapped into her, and she has these Superwoman powers. And it's an interesting story. The ending has a really big cliffhanger that's kind of like, whoa, what is this? Where is this going to? I I'm gonna read the next issue, but I don't know if I'll stick with the story. We'll see. I mean, it's one of those things.
You're gonna stick with it like you stuck with the Chinese Superman, aren't you? I read that first issue, and the second issue came out, and I was like, skip.
I read the second issue too, and it's the thing is, the writing is so good.
Oh.
It's just it's so hard to put these down, because as much as I think that I'm going to end this issue and it's just going to be like, I'm not going to read this story ever again, it's just, I always end up picking the next one. Like, I mean, as silly as the concepts are, New Superman, completely a silly concept, I'm sorry. It's not a race thing or any of that, it's just a silly story to me. But it's written so well, it's hard not to put it down.
Dude, I'm totally waiting for somebody to green screen me into a porno film, dude, because I'm totally stuck here with the green screen. It is easily cut out while you've got an actual background. It's going to happen. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about it real quick. The one thing I wanted to talk about was Nightwing, because we didn't touch base on Nightwing. Nightwing is trying to get to that point where it's like we're separating the love between Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson, and it's over with. Have you got a chance to read it yet?
I have. It's the Nightwing stories.
You sound like you sound so like, oh man, it's Nightwing.
I mean, no, I like the way that Nightwing's going. He's really, he's definitely still dealing with the drama of his past life, and everyone's like, you're back, but you're not. And that's the thing I think he's dealing with. He's like, how deep am I going to go in this cover to try and uncover the Court of Owls, the Parliament of Owls?
He should have been thinking how deep he's going to go into Barbara Gordon. Yeah, I went there.
Yeah, well, it's not going to work if he keeps standing her up for dates, apparently.
Well, it's not going to work if he keeps carrying her little present around and he breaks it. Now it's already got a crack in it. Like, it was in good shape, now it's cracked, and by the time he gives it to her, it's going to be gone, and he's going to be sleeping with Starfire again. He already basically hinted to that in that in the Starfire magazine when she was. He actually showed up as Grayson in that issue and saved her from a ship, and she was all tickled to death. Starfire's a good comic too. I'll go ahead and throw that out. I've been reading Starfire, but don't tell anybody. It's just between me and you and the 5 people that are watching right now, so don't tell nobody.
4.
Oh no, one person heard me liking Starfire and I'm out.
No, I really like it. I think it's great. He's definitely dealing with... It's kind of like with Batgirl, too, her transition from Oracle to Batgirl. They're both kind of dealing with our past lives that we are done. We're trying to readjust to normal, but what is that new normal? And I think that's what a lot of these heroes are dealing with. I really like Wonder Woman 2 right now. It's kind of shifting between 2 storylines in Wonder Woman. There's the past thing, you're kind of getting a flashback to when she first met Steve and their adventures, and then you've got the story with her and Cheetah.
Dude, there's way too much dialogue in Wonder Woman for me to get through. It's like reading Lord of the Rings. I ain't got time.
I really liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was a fun comic. I just think it's really interesting because we don't get to see that origin story too often. I think that it gets left out whenever they reboot something.
Yeah, I mean, Wonder Woman has so much backstory, and they're trying to cram it all in these couple of issues. It's too much backstory. But we actually have a viewer here actually wanting to know, what do we think about Dr. Manhattan manipulating the DC universe? Now, they haven't officially announced that yet, have they? Did I miss something?
They haven't touched on the Watchmen thing since issue 1 of The Flash. That's the last time I think they mentioned
Watchmen. Do you think
Watchmen.
they backed out of it and was like, oh no, we better not do that? Or
do you think Geoff Johns and a bunch of the other writers have already said, we're taking our time right now with the Watchmen story. We want to gradually get that in.
Yeah.
The first crossover event of any comic series that we're going to see is coming up here in September, and that's going to be Nightwing, Detective Comics, and Batman all crossing over, and it's called The Coming of the Monster Men. So we've been seeing hints at every comic kind of mentioning the Monster Men.
Are they gonna be fighting the putties from Suicide Squad?
I hope not.
When it comes to this whole Manhattan theory,
they're taking it with Watchmen right now. they're taking it slow with the Watchmen right now, and I like that because honestly, like that is the biggest thing with Rebirth that's in the back of my mind every time I'm reading this. Like, how are they going to introduce that? But it's probably leading up to it. Right now, they're still establishing every storyline that they've got in the DC universe going right now. I think once we get out of the gate with all of those issue ones that they're getting out, we'll probably start seeing a lot more of the Watchmen being mentioned by next year.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that they have a whole Rebirth world to build up now. You know, Batman's back, you know, and he's pretty much a brand new Batman. Like, after, I guess, Endgame and everything, like, he's completely healed 100%. So he's just as strong as he was when he was 19 years old. And then we've got a pretty good backstory with the new Superman, because we pretty much know his backstory. If we've ever read any of the comics in the 90s, we know. And then you got to think on top of that with the new introduction of the new Wally West, and not only Wally West, but Superboy. Like, I like this new Superboy. But I kind of feel like it's going to come to a head. We're going to see the old cloned Superboy show up sometime and fight him, whether it be in some kind of alternate world or whatever. But, you know, we also got this weird, strange Clark Kent that nobody's talking about. Like, Clark Kent randomly just shows up. And like, okay, Clark Kent.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we've still got a lot of characters that have origins to be discussed. I think Blue Beetle comes out next week. We got a lot more characters.
Are they still doing issue ones? Like, how long are they doing issue ones?
They're probably going to be going until September at least. I think the last issue ones come out in September, but they're still going with issue ones. I mean, we haven't even got Blue Beetle, the Teen Titans. We haven't got that one yet. So there's a few other titles that have still yet to come out. That's why I said I think they're waiting to have their whole DC universe fully introduced. Swamp Thing, that's another one that hasn't come out. They're waiting for their whole lineup to be introduced before they give us more of that Watchmen story and really dive into a lot of their crossover big cataclysmic events that are coming.
Well, I guess that kind of segues into our next thing. We could talk about comics. We need to just make comics like a completely new thing, like just a whole separate episode. Like,
you mean like the thing, comics being in the Comic Book Jerk Show? Oh my gosh, what a novel idea, man!
Well, the Comic Book Jerk Show basically bashes comic book movies, but it's not so much of a comic book show. It's a pop culture super show with all my geeky friends, and it's got the difference in Wookiees and Tribbles and Kibbles and Bits, you know. The freaking story comes together like a reductor twist, and if you don't know what that is, it's from Harry Potter, or maybe it's worse. You might even curse, a jerk. Well, anyways, the top 5 office movies to watch if you work in an office or don't work in an office. So, number 5 is a black screen of death known as Fight Club. Now, you might be asking, why would you pick Fight Club? How is that an office movie? Well, it does start in an office, and a dude pretty much does go batshit crazy.
Which is a side effect of The Office?
It could be a side effect. Believe me, when you work in an office, your mind starts to play tricks out of you. Every day, day after day, you're in a cubicle. You have this wall, and the computers in front of you. Everything behind you doesn't exist. So people can walk up to you any moment, just tap you on the shoulder, and you'd be like, what the? It is a really strange job, especially when you do it for, I mean, a couple of weeks is really cool, but once you do it for like 3 years straight, the cubicle does crazy things to your mind. So when you watch Fight Club, it's one of those situations where you know that you're about to go batshit crazy. So when you watch Fight Club and you actually work in an office, it's one of those movies that you could sympathize with, that you kind of understand, because this dude has pretty much developed a split personality disorder because he works in an office. I mean, he's crazy as hell, dude. Like, anybody to get a Fight Club together, nobody talks about Fight Club but the Comic Book Jerk and
we're breaking the number 1 rule right now, man. We're breaking rule 1 and 2.
And even Brad Pitt agrees. That's right. We're breaking the number 1 rule. You don't talk about Fight Club. Well, see, I think
it's a great dichotomy, because I think that it just goes to show that even the simple person. You know, Fight Club can be in anyone. You know, it could be you could be this guy in any situation, because it's like that scene when he first starts it up and he starts seeing guys everywhere he goes. Like, you know, some guy serving him at a restaurant and they just kind of give a nod to each other, you know, or some guy just driving a bus. You know, this could be anyone just driven to the point where Fight Club is them, you know?
Dude, and I've been in those situations where I feel like I just want to go home and punch myself in the face, just like Fight Club. Like I literally get in an old brawl because maybe I done something wrong that day, or maybe somebody made me upset, or maybe there's something that I should have been able to leave at the door. Like, when you work in an office, it's you. Here's the building, and here's you. Before you enter that building, you have to leave everything that you care about, love, at the door. So anything you do in your personal life, it has to be left at the door. Now, when you're inside of that building, everything in the outside world is completely gone. You have a cubicle here, and a cubicle in front of you. Now, that's your world. That's your world for the next. If you work an 8-hour shift, that's your world. Even when you're on lunch break, that will be your world, because you're constantly thinking during that lunch break, I have to go back to work in an hour. Or you go and take a nap in that hour. And it's odd because time seems to manipulate itself in an office job. Time will literally slow down and speed up. You take a 15-minute break, it goes by like that. There's no 15-minute break in an office job because you're still trying to hustle to get back to your seat. So, yeah, there might be a 10-minute break, but that 5 minutes of that 10-minute break it doesn't exist. And I don't know why it is, but there is a perception with the unconscious mind that says that everything that we do in our life, everything that I'm doing now, is actually a delayed reaction. Our brain is processing that milliseconds or hundreds of milliseconds later. So if you think about it, if you sit in the same spot and do the same tedious thing every day, you're going to develop a split personality disorder or some kind of different movement. You know, it's really intense to work in an office. So that brings me to another one. Now, do you remember the first time you watched Fight Club?
Yeah, I was actually 15.
Now,
like a lot of people were like, you know, for the longest time I had that thing where it's like, have you seen Fight Club? No, and they're like, oh my god, it's life changing. And I saw the movie and it was a great film. And I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. And then I watched
it was the one movie that made me say, I want to work in an office. I want to go.
And then I watched it again, and I just started diving into the deeper meaning behind it. And then I watched this video that explained all these little subtleties in the movie that you didn't see, little Easter eggs. So then I tried to watch it and catch them. Like, apparently, like,
Did you catch the cock? Did you catch this random big dick in the screen? Like, if I was to randomly just cut to Justin, and then whip my cock out and then cut to me.
Yeah, there was all the little subliminal messaging where it just kind of he pops up like a flame, and it's like you see it, and you're like, "Whoa, I see it this time."
I like Corey's response on here. He's got the Unreality of Time posted. I can't wait till this podcast is over because I'm going to check that out. But I definitely there is a misconception with time, and time. You know, today I got this frustration because I was so pissed off at time. Because you could be talking on the phone to somebody, or you can be really concentrating to solve somebody's issue, and you end the phone call, and 5 minutes of your life has went by, but it's like fucking Inception, dude. It's like you're stranded on a fucking island with this person that you're with for 5 minutes, but it feels like you've been on the phone with them for a fucking eternity, dude. Like, it's one of those subtleties of having that left and that right and that center, but not knowing what's behind you. It's that.
So let's go to number 4.
Do you want to go with number 4? Let's see what number 4 is on the list of this top 5. Number 5 on the list. I really like number 5 because when it comes to number 4. Yeah, number 4. I'm just excited about this podcast.
Yes.
Because The Wolf of Wall Street really is one of those movies that motivates you to be a better office worker. So it's not one of those things that makes you
minus the dodging, the FBI, you know, the IRS, the bribery, embezzlement, all the drugs, quaaludes, STDs, scandals, and malpractice. It's a great motivation to be a better office
Do you think that stuff doesn't happen in a real office? I mean, it happens with every job, dude. There's always some kind of corruption or favoritism or some kind of.
So there's midget throwing competitions.
There, you don't want to know what goes on in an office when you work there for long enough. But let me tell you this for a second. The thing that will motivate you better to be a better office worker for watching this movie is not the way that there's scandal involved, not the way a guy come up in the world. It's the way that he talks to people, the way he's able to talk people into things, to believe in things, the way he's able to manipulate people on the phone, but the way he's able to make money and to sustain that money.
Harlan comments his first penny stock sell was epic.
Exactly.
And I agree. I think, when I first watched it, I dogged it a lot because it felt at some parts way too long or way too unnecessary. But I think when you get down to the core of the actors and the acting, I thought it was a fantastic movie acting-wise. There was a lot of stuff like fluff parts that I don't think were that important, but could have been taken out. But I mean, I think when you get down to it, I really think Leo should have won an Oscar sooner with this movie, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, he should have definitely got an Oscar for this. And not only is this movie one of those movies that is entertaining, smart, funny, it's actually got a tone to it that you can enjoy. Like, it's an enjoyable movie. The whole midget throwing and all that stuff, that stuff made fun to it. It showed you that these people can be big business people but still have fun.
I love how he breaks it down to the audience, too, because, a lot of people watch these office movies or these big business movies, and I don't get all this stuff that's going on. And then he just breaks the fourth wall, and he's like, well, you see, what we do with these penny stocks is we sell them like this, and is this legal? No, this is not legal, but we did it, So I think that it was kind of funny how he had to, this was such an intelligent movie that they even stopped to break it down for some people who may not know everything about business or the insider world.
But what I took away from it is how to genuinely talk to somebody, how to really get in depth in there, how to kind of coach yourself, and how to look at yourself and be like, hey, I'm not just talking to somebody else. I'm trying to really get my point across. It's not just like, hey, you need to buy this stock. It's more like, here's why you have to have this stock. This is why. This is the reason you got to do it. If you don't do it, you're missing out.
Sell me this pen.
I can't sell you that pen. You sell me that. You sell me that pen. See, it's a part of salesmanship that I could not believe, man. Like, it's just a different movie in general, man. It's not what you expected. Like, I never wanted to watch this movie because it sounded like Wolf of Wall Street. That sounds incredibly boring, incredibly silly. And yeah, the movie is incredibly silly and incredibly not boring, surprisingly. Like, yeah, the drugs, the sex scandals, all that stuff, whatever. But it's funny. Like, those are stuff that basically happened. So let's move on to our next. What is it? We had 5, 4. We're up to 3. So
3.
Before we switch over to this one, number 3 is a really tricky one because nobody would ever think in a million years that this movie is actually an office movie, because technically it is an office movie, but that movie would be The Incredibles. And I noticed you're kind of confused there. Why? Why would I pick The Incredibles? Because The Incredibles shows the meaningless, tedious job that you have sometimes. Like when you work in an office, there is that part of you that's just day in, day out. It's breaking your back. But underneath of it all, dude, The Incredibles shows you that there could be a superhero inside of that person working. So you can't just walk past your desk and see a guy that just looks like this and not try to cheer him up or make him happy, because deep down that person, yes, that person right there could be a superhero. So, I mean, and you gotta, yeah, you're not getting it, are you?
I mean, I get it now. I mean, it's a great argument. I think it's a stretch.
you think it, but do you not think that maybe
it's
like
a stretch?
If you
technically, if you want to go that far, then you could argue that Batman vs Superman is about a journalist and a billionaire who lose everything when their city's destroyed, and so then it's a journalist businessman movie.
Is that not the fuck what that is? If you got to put it into perspective, yes. Yes, if somebody was to do the top 5 movies that have to do with movie journalism, Superman would make it about every other time, dude. Especially the New Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Harlan says he helped the poor old lady. So I guess that now that you say it, it really does show an office side. I guess the guy he realizes that maybe this is about the guys who went to college for 4 years. Have this awesome degree, and then they're sitting in their job thinking, man, I am so much better than this. He's a superhero underneath it all. And he just wants to help people. So he helps that old lady go and find her way so that she could get her taxes or loan or something.
Hey, Mikey popped in and said a billionaire playboy philanthropist? I never can say that word. But yeah, if we have movies about billionaire playboy philanthropist, then we all need to tune in to the... I don't know if you've heard about this, but this is in the news lately. But apparently they're going to do an Amazon TV series based on Hugh Hefner's life. So it's going to be like a TV series of Hugh Hefner.
I want to see that movie. God bless.
It's going to be a TV. No, it's going to be a series on Amazon.
It's going to be a series?
Yeah, it's going to be a series. I don't know how many episodes, but a billionaire playboy philanthropist would definitely.
He was such an innovator of his time, even if it was for nudie magazines. The guy was pushing a lot of boundaries, and I really respect Hugh as a businessman. So, I respect him more than some people. Trump! But,
Lex Luthor, you mean? I tell you what, dude. We'll drop on the Trump for just a second, since we spoke about Superman. Trump is definitely the 1970s version of Lex Luthor. He's got the curly hair and everything before he's bald. But yeah, we'll skip ahead for the next movie. Can you guess what the next movie is? What are we on?
2. We're on number 2 of our top 5 Office movies. So number 5, if you're just tuning in, was...
Number 5. Let's go. Let's count it back here. Number 5 was it? Yeah,
Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club. Yeah. And number 4. What was number 4?
We had
Wolf of Wall Street.
For Wall Street.
All right. And then number 3 was The Incredibles. I don't know. I'm starting to lose it. So let's go ahead and cut to the clips here. We've got Fight Club. We've got Wolf of Wall Street. And then we have The Incredibles. And everybody says, why The Incredibles? Basically because it's one scene right here. Now, the next one on the list is one that really amps me up. Gets me excited. Wanted. Now, to tell anybody that Wanted is...
That was on my list.
I'm telling you, when it comes to movies, office movies, this should be number 1. It should definitely be number 1, because not only does this movie show that just working in an office can be boring and tedious, but outside of that world, there's another life, dude. There's an exciting life outside of that office that if you're taking a vacation, or you're taking a break, or you're getting any time off of work, you should be definitely learning how to curve bullets around walls, man, and jumping onto trains and
I just love the thought process as he's walking in. Like, he just details his day when he walks in. He's like, my boss is just a fat, loud bitch. This guy is so fake right to my face. I want to punch this guy in the face all the time.
I'm
he's
telling
just
you,
going through the monotony of all the things that, as much as you love your job, everyone loves their job at one point. There is always in the back of your mind that stuff you're thinking, you're like, man, I really just wish I wasn't here right now because of this person and this person and this person.
And that's exactly how it is, man. Like there's that favoritism. Like he looked at her in that light, like, this bitch is getting all this favoritism, but she's still a bitch. She still had a shitty upbringing. She's still a shitty person inside. And, it's one of those movies that really grabs you to the point where it's like, there's so much excitement outside of the regular world. Like, your job is not what pertains to the outside world. Your job is basically a job. It's, when you go outside that world, there's so much more of a world outside of that cubicle, because you can't see what's behind you, but when you go outside, you can turn all the way around and you can see the world for what it is. And I think that
it just also goes back to, The Incredibles,
Yeah.
In The Incredibles, it's a guy who was great, knows he's great, and is forced to kind of, settle for this normal lifestyle in a cubicle, but he knows he's greater than that. This is the opposite. It's a guy who thinks that, he's just got ADHD, he doesn't really amount to anything, and that he's just going to be stuck here his whole life. And then he goes to become something way more badass than he really is. So it's kind of like that paradigm where it's like,
so it's kind of
showing it makes settling, and the other's kind of showing it as this platform.
Yeah, and it makes a good movie to follow up to Incredibles, because you got somebody that was a hero that decided to take all of that and work in an office, and then now you have somebody that's worked in an office all their life that now has to become the hero. So it basically has that same stature of, hey, if you're going to sit down and after you get off work, you work in an office and you got to go home, you got to watch something that pertains, like, watch something that shows you that even after that office job, you could be a hero. It's not like, hey, I was a hero or I did do this. It doesn't matter what you did before. This guy basically, he did his thing, man. Like, even though he quit his job, and we're not saying to quit your job or anything, but,
there's something greater in all of us. I think that's what office movies try to portray, because offices are I think the stereotyped kind of bland lifestyle job. I mean, they're, not saying that every person who works in an office is a bland person, but, it's that when you think of monotony and just being sedentary and just doing something that's just kind of the same thing every day, I mean, the office is the first thing that comes to mind for a lot of people. And I think that that's why a lot of people choose offices as a setting to represent a normal or a boring lifestyle. And I think that's why it makes it fun when you see movies like, or TV shows like The Office or Wolf of Wall Street that show the fun side of an office that you don't normally see.
And I find it so odd, like, even though these are office movies, it's really kind of cool because these movies are also comic book movies. Wanted was a comic book movie. The Incredibles is kind of like a parody of a comic book movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of odd. And Fight Club is actually a comic book. Fight Club was a comic book before it was ever a movie, and they actually have a sequel called Fight Club 2, which actually has the same characters coming back, so it's actually takes place right at where Fight Club 1 ends, and, I could definitely see that they may eventually do a Fight Club 2 movie because the comic book's been so successful lately, So it's definitely a possibility of that happening. And shut up, Harlan, your ass is bland. I've seen the comments, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to deal with this pathetic, shitty trolling that you internet nerds and dweebs want to do all the time. I will not take it.
You mean what your show is based on?
Go ahead, flame away. Any kind of compliment's a good compliment, even if it's a negative comment. So.
Alright, so, number one Office movie.
Office Space, of course. Like, what other movie? I mean, what other movie could you pick? Like, out of the whole series of Office movies, all five of them. I mean, there's other Office movies in the 40s and 50s, 60s, 70s, but I've yet to see any decent ones other than these top five. That's why they're the top five.
We're talking movies. We're not just... Because if there were TV shows, I could list a bunch. This movie... Really? I mean, when you said Office movies, the first one I thought of was Office Space. I wasn't really thinking about anything else on this list until I got thinking really hard. I mean, this just screams office monotony. I love Milton. I have people skills. I'm good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that? What the hell is wrong with you people?
And it's so sad, man, because it's weird what Office Space breaks the mode of all four of the other movies. Like, all the other ones have some kind of meaning behind them. Like whether it be, hey, if you're productive, you get rich on it, even if you're being sneaky. And then
you're
the one
a hero inside, you're a hero who's undiscovered.
Yeah.
And this one's just like, man, being in an office sucks, and this guy's find a way to take it down.
Let me tell you about that. Anybody that works in an office knows this. But what this movie does is if you actually work in an office, Office Space should piss you off, basically because you watch all these underachieving assholes make a name for themselves. Like this dude goes and gets hypnotized, and the next thing you know, he doesn't give a shit about his job, and he rolls in late, and he just kicks his feet up on the desk. He doesn't give a shit, and he's getting interviewed by the corporate execs, and he just don't give a fuck. And yet he gets promoted. And when you work in an office, that's the way it kind of works out for you. Like, you can work your ass off day in and day out, and if there's not some kind of charisma behind you, if there's not some kind of favoritism behind you, if you're not friends with a certain person, there are chances are you're not going to get promoted. So what this movie showed,
if you could get the memo, that'd be great.
And it kind of shows that, like, this is a movie that pisses you off because if you work in that type of scenario, you will see people that don't actually deserve that job, that come in there day in, day out and sneak away with not doing their job, or they don't be productive.
I really like this movie also because it shows the sides. It's not only office jobs, but how restaurant jobs work. I mean, Jennifer Aniston works in like a TGI Fridays kind of parody, and there's always that one worker who's just so hyped to be there every day.
Oh, and
hey! How are you today? We're having a fantabulous day at what was the restaurant called? Like, Wacky Wednesdays. It was like a parody of Ruby Tuesdays and TGI Fridays. But, you know, he's that guy who's like, you know, your flare's looking a little bare there. She's like, I got a button. Yeah, but you don't have like 80 buttons like me. There's always that one. And then in the office, you got that boss who's always just like, yeah, if you could do this, you know, and this, and I think that that just shows that, you know, jobs suck sometimes everywhere.
Yeah, and since you brought up the restaurant thing, that would be a great way to segue into like a future feature. Like, the weird thing about office movies versus restaurant movies is you could you could get a top 10. You could get a top 10 of restaurant movies. You could only get a top 5 on office movies. I'm telling you.
Porky's, Slammin' Salmon, Waiting 1 and 2.
Waiting 2 was awful, but
yeah, you know, but it's a movie.
And there's also that.
We also do ones about retail jobs. There's a few of those. There's like Employee of the Month was a movie I saw. That's about
Superstore is an incredible show, dude. If you've ever watched NBC's, I think it's NBC, but NBC's Superstore, that's great, dude. Like, I've worked at Walmart, dude. I know how that works, and Superstore is definitely a great parody on it. Like, no, we never would have done anything like that. It's more of a tedious, miserable job than Superstore makes it out to be. But it's a great show.
British comedies have a lot more shows that are in offices and like superstores than America does. We have a lot of cop dramas and detective shows, whereas Britain has a lot of office dramas and stuff like that. I guess that's just because there's a lot of office work over there more than anything. So,
yeah, dude, like going back to Office Space, dude, there's definitely times where your computer freezes up so much that you just want to take it outside and smash it. You can't stand it. It's pissing you off. Damn it.
When my Xbox got the red ring of death, and they basically told me we can't fix it because they hadn't fixed that stuff at the beginning. I just did that. I even played the same music. I saw this movie when I was really young. I saw it when I was like 8 or 9.
I was a late bloomer, dude.
At that time, and then I saw it later, and I got I got some of the slapstick jokes and some of the jokes. But then as I became an adult and got a job, I was just like, oh my god, this is so much more relevant to me.
Dude, waiting for me was like that. It was like, how much fun can I have at this job? And then you actually work at one of those places, and it's like, don't you dare fucking try to have fun. This is a goddamn job. This ain't to be having fun. You know, we ain't trying to hear that working hard and having fun bullshit. Don't you dare have no fun. That's a restaurant job. And they make sure that you go home smelling like shit and feeling like shit and
I go home smelling like a cheeseburger. I like my job. I don't work for a corporate company though, so that's probably the difference. Because I work for a local restaurant that's family owned, and there's only one in the world, Parkette Drive-In. It's located on 1230 East New Circle Road, open Monday through Saturday at 11 a.m. Shameless
Maybe that's
plug,
not information you should tell people, but okay.
Shameless plug. You know, I think that it's a lot different working in a family-owned restaurant or family-owned business than it is working in a corporate job. I haven't had the pleasure of working in a corporate job, and I don't want to, because there's a lot of that worry, about district managers and general managers, and then like regional managers, and them just at any moment could come in and tell you you're doing everything that you were taught wrong, and that's just stressful to me, man. I don't want any of that. Man.
Oh yeah, it's definitely stressful, Justin. You never know what I'll do here. But I'm going to tell you what, like, I worked at McDonald's, dude, and you want to talk about Fight Club? Before Fight Club ever came out, dude, I worked at McDonald's for almost 3 years. And believe me, this is the greatest thing I ever done. One day, my boss said, yeah, I'll let you off work today if you do one thing. And I said, what do you want to do today? And he's like, if you will go out and fist fight me, I will let you leave work early. I said, wait, you want to literally fist fight, and then I get to get off work? So I'm telling you what, me and this dude, who was my manager at McDonald's, we went down to a place called the Slate Furnace, which is this old school place where they used to make cannonballs. It's like a national landmark. And we went down there, dude, and we went 5 rounds, dude. Had another guy videotaping it. And we went 5 rounds, dude, each one 3 minutes apiece. And we put boxing gloves on it, and everything, dude. And we beat the living shit out of each other, dude. And it was at a time when I was still in high school and stuff, and I went to school the next day, and I had black eyes and bruises on my lips. But at the last second of the last round, dude, we had 30 seconds on the clock, and I knocked his ass out, dude, and he went down. And as soon as I knocked him out, dude, they counted to 10, and he was out, and I fell down, dude. So I went to school the next day, and I got to tell everybody. I was like, I beat the shit out of my manager. Like, I really, like, I went down there. He said, I'll give you the rest of the day off, but you got to go boxing with me. And we literally went down there and beat the living hell out of each other, dude. Like, it was before Fight Club had ever come out. It was before the comic books, before the movie came out, and it's something he wanted to do. Like, there's times, like, when jobs could be fun.
There are times, I mean, there was one day, one of my coworkers who doesn't work with me anymore, great guy, well, he came to me, and I was just standing outside, and he's like, hey, man, I'll pay you $50 right now to let me punch you as hard as I can in the face. And I'm like, $50? And he's like, yeah, and he holds up 2 20s and a 10. He's like, I will give this to you if you let me punch you in the face. I said this, I go, and I said this, like, he's a big dude who said this, and I'm like 16 at the time. I know that one punch is going to lay me out. And I go, so, are you aiming for the nose, or are you aiming for the cheek? He's like, do not think about this, man. I'm just saying, one punch. And I'm just like, as much as that $50 sounds good, $100 for a broken nose repair doesn't sound too good either. So, I mean, there have been days like that. I'm sure everyone has days like that, though, man. So
yeah,
that's why we all just need a fight club. I think that the problem is you can't talk about it. So how am I going to find it? I can't go on Craigslist.
We don't need.
Here's the thing. I can't go on Craigslist and ask where's the local fight clubs. I can't go around being like, because then people are going to be like, man, are you crazy? Rule 1 and 2. Rule 1 and 2. You can't do that.
We don't need a fight club, man. We need a hug club. We need to just be like, hey, you hate your fucking job and you're miserable and you don't like your life. Well, just as soon as you get off of your job, you come over here and we will hug you. You know, there's places around the world that have cuddle clubs, dude. I don't know if you've heard about these, but you can look them up online. They're called cuddle clubs, and you pay somebody like an hour. Instead of getting a masseuse, you get somebody to cuddle with, somebody to pet you, and somebody make you feel perfect.
I can be a professional cuddler.
Hey.
What do you do for a living? I'm a professional cuddler. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, until
they go give a hug. Whoa. If you hug me anymore, I'm going to have to start charging, man. I'm a professional at this. I don't work for free.
I'm telling you, man, Cuddle Club, man. Fuck it. We all talk about Cuddle Club. First rule about Cuddle Club, tell everybody about Cuddle Club. We got cuddles, we got caresses, we got pettings, we can
play with your hair and we don't stop.
This part where somebody photoshops me into a porno, dude. Oh yeah.
That's not Cuddle Club. That's the Street Corner Club.
that's Street Corner Club. That's right. Well, I think Street Corner Club has been the wrap up for the night, dude. I think we should go ahead and wrap this podcast up. But let's go ahead and count it down. What was number 5, Justin?
Number 5 was Fight Club for best office movies. Fight Club.
That's right. Number 4, Wolf of Wall Street. Number 3. Back to
The
you.
Incredibles.
Number 2 is Wanted, because you always want to try to leave your office and curve a bullet. Number 1.
Office Space, the best and only office movie that everyone can think of.
Exactly. Now, if they had a best TV series for an office, it'd definitely be Mr. Robot. If you haven't watched Mr. Robot, you are fucking missing out. Because that first season is incredible. The second season, I don't understand it. So maybe I'll get into it when the season wraps. Then I'll go back to season 2. But you definitely got to check out Mr. Robot.
Is it on Hulu or Netflix or anything?
It's on Amazon Instant Video right now.
Okay, I got that.
Pretty good.
Alright, so that was our show. So, shameless plugs.
Shameless plugs. You can check out Comicbookjerk at, what was my address again? Comicbookjerk.com, which I haven't updated in a whole long time. You can check us out at twitter.com/comicbookjerk. You can go to facebook.com/comicbookjerk. You can go to youtube.com/comicbookjerk. And I don't know why I'm talking like this, but I'm a little bit ADHD is what the kids call it nowadays. But Justin, what do you got to plug?
Richmond Comics and Collectibles. If you live in Richmond, Kentucky, it's the best comic book store, and soon to be the only comic book store since Hastings is closing. So, yeah, the best place for Funko Pops, collectibles, comic books. You can get your daily pull list every week and stuff. Customer service is amazing. And Pretty Bird Productions on Etsy. That's my fiance's Etsy store. If you want to look it up, you can get some really cool nerdy themed pillows. She also does commissions.
Alright, and I forgot to throw out Harry Go Toys on eBay and Facebook. Check it out, Harry Go Toys. Check them out. You can also custom tailor your own box. So forget Loot Crate. Forget whatever those other box companies are that give you a box full of junk. Go to bigoldboxofstuff.com. Custom tailor the box that you want to get the items that you want and have them shipped to you. We are also a proud member of the Kentucky Funko League of Awesomeness. If you don't know about the Kentucky Funko League of Awesomeness, they don't give me any money, and none of these people that I'm promoting right now give me any money, but they're friends of mine, so check them out. And, Justin, what time is it?
It's time to kick that disclaimer, which I'm gonna read.
That's right.
Finally
Here we go. Every week, the challenge is on. Can Justin perform the disclaimer?
All right. The following broadcast should be followed further into the sequence of 106 and 106A, the fair use of copyrighted work, including such as the big production of copies of by any other means of copies of sections of purpose, such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for clarification uses.
Oh, you almost had it, dude. It was so close.
Dude, I stuttered a few. I could have had that, man. I could have had that. I'm getting better. Dude, by Christmas time, I bet you I'll have it.
Yeah,
you know,
hopefully. You'll have to listen to some scat, man. But I think that was a good show, man. I'm glad all the people tuned in. We actually had some viewers tonight. It's nice.
Yeah, not enough for me to staple my thumb.
Yeah, we did. Hey, you did rescue yourself from stapling the thumb this week, so that's a good thing. So
that awkward moment when you want us to have viewers, but you don't.
We definitely got to do those.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.